Well, hello there, my friends. Welcome into another Coach's Corner, the last Coach's Corner for the month of April. We have been meeting weekly, and the whole month long, Audrey has been posting about decluttering. And that's what we've been talking about every week for the past few weeks. And we're to the end now. This is it, the end of the Coach's Corner for April, talking about decluttering. We started the month off talking about decluttering our habits, and I asked you guys to take a deep dive into what your habits are. Are you even noticing what you do on a daily basis? Because we do a lot of things unconsciously. And we talked a little bit about how we can slip in some better habits, creating those baby habits. It takes, remember, 66 days to actually form a habit that is unconscious, that you're able to continue to do without actually thinking about it. So we went into a deeper dive on habits in my newsletter. And you guys, if you're not getting that, please subscribe, because that's where I can take the conversation a little bit deeper and more personal to you and more personal to me. You get to hear stories about my own health journey as well in those newsletters. The second week, we talked about hot or cold food, decluttering your food, and what kind of eater are you, and how to be more of a cool eater where you aren't just constantly thinking about your food choices and being hooked on sugar and caffeine, which a lot of us are as we get busy and busier. And then we talked about decluttering your life last week. I shared a story with you in my newsletter about a job that was offered, and just a lot of different things about how do we really nail down our values and get clear on what's important to you, what's important to us, and really hone in and refine our life based on those values, on what's important to you. How can you live in integrity? How can you live a more aligned life? That's what we talked about last week, keeping it short. And this last week of April, we're talking about decluttering the mind. Where do you go from here? Because I don't know if you've been tuning into the posts in our group, but wow, Audrey has hit it home when she's talking about our fears, talking about our anxieties, really talking about what's going on between our two ears, right? Lots of things going on up here. And how do we quiet the mind? How do we declutter the mind from all of those things that are causing us maybe some angst? Maybe it's causing us to go down the negative rabbit hole. Not to say that we're never going to have a negative thought, right? But what I am saying is you can course correct, have that negative thought, and then get back on the bandwagon of doing something positive, going toward the healthy side of whatever it is on your plate. Whatever's on your plate, you can always go toward healthy or unhealthy. But how do we declutter the mind? Because if you're like me, you're a busy mama, you're working, you've got lots of things going on in your life. There's a lot going on up there, a lot of responsibility, right? We have to answer for a lot of things. Who in your household takes care of the day-to-day running, the cleaning of the house, the grocery shopping? Who in your household knows where all the kids have to be at a certain time after school? Who is it for you? Who in your household takes care of the lawn, the cars, the maintenance, all those other things? Maybe that one person is you and you do it all. Or maybe you divvy it up, between you and your partner. That could look many different ways. But what I'm saying is no matter which one you are, you have a lot on your plate, because not only are we doing all of those things for the household and running the family life, the work life, but we have parents that we're probably, keeping in contact with. Maybe we're not in charge of their going and comings, but we do keep in contact with them. Maybe you are a sister or a brother and you've got siblings, and you're keeping in contact with them. So we have a lot on our shoulders, a lot of responsibility. We have relationships that we are important to us, and then we also have our jobs and our family household to run, right? So it's a lot of pressure. It can feel like a lot of pressure. And so we can start to go down that negative spiral of thinking that we don't have enough time, that we're tired all the time. Think of that feeling of lack, right? Where there's just not enough, not enough. And we need to get out of that mindset. That is what I'm talking about today with decluttering the mind. How do you get out of the mindset of lack? I'm going to give you a couple of solutions here that you can take with you, put them in your back pocket. And next time you feel like you're going down that rabbit hole of lack, pull one of these out and maybe it'll work for you. If it doesn't, try the next one, right? Keep trying until you find something that works. And the first one that I always love and I'm always going to talk about is meditation. Why? Because meditation is a practice of focus. And that's what we need when we start going into the spiral of negativity or the monkey mind, like a lot of people call it. How do we get out of the monkey mind? We got to focus. That's it. Focus. Focus your energy and your thoughts on something, whether that's the sound of your breath, whether that's a guided meditation, whatever that looks like for you. But meditation is really a practice in focus. And that's what we're talking about here. So that's tip number one. Number two is a worry journal. And I wrote these down. If you see me looking down, it's because I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget one of these. A worry journal, I think Audrey had posted something about this or an article that led to this kind of idea where you have a specific time of day that you are journaling and you put all of your little worries into this worry journal and then you close that journal up and you leave it. That means you're not picking up the worry again, right? It's down in that journal where it needs to stay. So you lay it down and you leave it there. If that works for you, great. Implement writing. Writing, journaling is a wonderful tool to get your feelings and thoughts down on paper. The third idea is a brain dump. Very similar to the worry journal, but I like to use the brain dump for things like if I'm having trouble sleeping, right? And I've got the racing mind and I just can't seem to get to bed on time. Maybe there's a lot I've got going on the next day, or maybe there's just a lot that's happened that day, and I just can't stop the wheels turning. So keeping a journal by your bed and doing a brain dump, which basically means you're just going to offload everything that's in there onto this piece of paper or a journal. Get it all out. And that way, again, it's on paper. You've said it, you've thought it, you've written it down, and then it's over, right? You can go to sleep now knowing that you've got maybe an action plan, or at least it's just not all in your head to ruminate over and over and over it. I hear this ruminating bit happens a lot, and I'm right there with you, friends. And the last one is mindfulness. And mindfulness is really important because it goes back to the idea of being really present in meditation, the whole idea of being focused. Mindfulness is the same kind of concept. Here's how it's different though. Mindfulness is basically meaning you are focused in on one thing at a time. So you're not multitasking, right? We're so used to doing a gazillion different things at once just to try to get it all in because we have a lot to do. And I'm not here to judge, but I am here to say if you're feeling like you've got a monkey mind and it's just one thought after another, and again, you're starting to spiral into that negativity of lack and lack of energy and lack of time, then maybe, just maybe, it might be time to take a deep breath and stop. Pause, and just be right here. When you feel that anxiety bubbling up in you, stop and name the three things. What do I see that's right in front of me? What do I hear right now? What's going on in this room that I'm in? And what am I smelling? You come back to your senses, right? When you feel the sense of overwhelm going on in that mind of yours, stop and name the three things. Get really, really present in the moment. That's mindfulness. That's mindfulness, and do one thing at a time. Okay, friends, that's all I've got for you today. Declutter your mind. I've given you 4 action steps that you can take to declutter that mind. Of course, I'm going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive in my weekly newsletter that goes out on Mondays. If you are interested in that, I will leave a link down below. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your week. I will be back next week to talk hormone health. So can't wait to share with you about hormones. Have a great day, guys.